does it mean to be elected captain for second or third season in a
Third
row?
year, it's an honor. It's an honor. There's no other way to describe it. Definitely something I don't take for granted. To be able to be voted by my peers here in the locker room, it means a lot. And I take great responsibility for it. Moving forward, got to be a huge support for my guys on teams.
You've known what it's like to be a new guy, get acclimated, and then step into that leadership role pretty early on. Russell Wilson is doing the same thing now, being elected captain. What does he kind of bring to this locker room in terms of that leadership role?
Oh, he's a strong leader, and he brings veteran experience. He's been doing it at a high level for a long time, and I think with that experience, it kind of calms nerves, and he can lead guys through a various of situations because he's seen it. He's seen a lot, so just a calming presence, I would say.
Miles, obviously the first time is special. But when you get it a third time, is there a reward of like, hey, I'm still doing the right things and the same type of satisfaction?
When Coach said my name, it felt just as exciting as the first time. I was just completely thrilled and humbled, and it's definitely just a moment for me to step up and be what my teammates need me to be, which is just someone who holds the standard. Yep.
Tyler Medikevich was a special teams captain before you got here. Do you think you guys were going to battle it out for special teams captain? Or?
No, I wouldn't say anything like that. If anything, I would consider him a co-captain. He has the same amount of experience as me, and we feed off of each other's ideas. I would say that we're more brothers than anything, and so I'm so happy to have him on the team. It's only adding to our leadership on special teams, and I think we're gonna have a great year together.
Miles, you also play defense, obviously. How would you describe the leadership you get from TJ and from Cam?
Oh man, leadership from TJ and Cam. I mean, it's like a master class. I know a lot of players would pay to hear some things from TJ and Cam, so I don't take it lightly. I get to sit next to them every day, and I try to glean any wisdom I can. I work with them when I can. Their knowledge is very deep and vast, so it's definitely a lot of fun.
Guys like that are still trying to get deep into the playoffs.
Right.
What's the motivation level like, do you see, for guys like that have been here a while that haven't tasted what they want to get?
I would only describe it as hunger. We're very hungry, all of us. And we want to exceed, and we want to do it. We want to go deep, man. I'll just say it plainly. We want to win and win convincingly, and that's on all of our minds. We're sacrificing a lot, and we're coming together as a team, as a unit, and we're trying to figure out how to get it done.
Miles, every year there's going to be new people on special teams, but obviously some major rule changes. How ready do you guys feel as a unit for Sunday?
I feel like Coach Danny Smith is doing his absolute best to make sure that we're prepared, and I feel like we are getting prepared. We've put in the hours, we've put in the work, and now we're going to continue to do that as we get ready to square off against Atlanta.
How weird did that first kick return and kickoff feel when the rules are so different from anything? Going back to the first preseason game, how strange and out of body experience maybe was it?
I mean, listen, I'm one of the old players who was used to taking off before the ball's kicked, from a distance. So I've seen all the variations, and it's taken some getting used to. But hey, I'm a proponent for it. It's not going anywhere. We have to embrace it and adapt, and that's what we're doing.
Cam, you're no stranger to being a captain, but what does it mean to be voted by your teammates again?
I don't take it for granted. It's an honor to be, selected to represent a group of men. But it's not just me walking around in front of a podium. It's listening to the guys, being an extension, and trying to represent them as much as possible.
Russ has also been voted a captain. He's a newer guy around here. Just what does it say about the way that he's come in and acclimated to the locker room and kind of assumed this leadership role?
Yeah, I think, on the offensive side of the ball, there's a lot of leadership that was needed, and, I think he's ready for that. We'll see how he does. And if he has questions, ask me, TJ, and Miles.
Miles was saying that part of the thing about Russ is that he calms a lot of nerves because he's been there, done that. I mean, how valuable is that as a leader to have kind of seen everything to see and be able to take charge of some chaotic situations?
Well, I think just the experience alone, he's reached heights that me and TJ haven't even. So, I think from that standpoint, he's got what we're going for, and hopefully he adds to the group, and make sure that we can all get there with that.
When you see a guy like that who has gotten there, does that fuel your fire more?
Of course, I want to. That's all I want in this game, and to help the group, and to get over the top, and one day raise a Lombardi, and you want to ask about the experience in the playoffs, getting over those hurdles, and we got to have complementary football. It can't just be offense, just can't be defense, can't just be special teams. It's going to take every part of this team to get it done.
Cam, since you've been here, what team do you feel like had the best shot to win a Super Bowl?
Ooh, best shot. I think either 16 or 17. 16, I was hurt. 17, Shea got hurt, I think, right? Yeah. And so, when Shea went down, we were like the top-rated defense at the time, and it just kind of threw us for a loop. But, hopefully we have something that rivals that this year.
Do those close misses stick in your mind and, motivation to get back?
Close misses, a ball going, one way or the other. We were in the playoffs versus Denver years ago. Fumble changed that outcome of that game. Not getting a stop on defense there. There's countless amount of games. Even when we played KC, we started off so fast in the playoffs. We had turnovers, but we couldn't get points on the board. We're looking for complete games, especially in the playoffs. But first, we got to make sure we capitalize on getting to the playoffs. You can't overlook that. It's a newer team, but the goal is to make the playoffs and then win the Super Bowl.
After going through this entire team development process, training camp, preseason, everything like that, to be here now, how is this year different than any of the other years that you played on this team?
I think it's still too early to say. I think we got to see ourselves when, you're flying around and things are chaotic. How do we bounce back in those moments? How do we, stay together through thick moments? How do we, win the games we're supposed to? How do we adjust accordingly? These are all questions we got to answer throughout the year. But hopefully we answer these questions early, so when we get to December, we know what type of team we are.
Mike talked about when you guys signed Russ that his drive and his hunger was a big reason why he was the right fit here. What do you remember about the early FaceTime or the first FaceTime calling Russ trying to recruit him to come to Pittsburgh?
The thing about recruiting, I would say, is it wasn't really a recruit. It was just me sharing my experiences and seeing if they aligned with what he was thinking. I think he understood the history that was already set before here, and then the challenge that comes along with being a Pittsburgh Steeler, because you're not just playing for the guys in here, you're playing for the guys who've already played before. And so I think he really aligned with that. The hunger of trying to win another Super Bowl is big, not only in him, but it's in us. And so I think we were very aligned on that.
When you hung up on the FaceTime, were you like, this guy's a Steeler, like he's got to come
I
here?
really didn't know what was going to happen. I texted TJ and Mink, and I was just like, get ready. Russ is going to want to talk to you for a good bit. But, I think, you never want to get too high or too low in these free agency things because, it can go sideways very fast. And so it wasn't, he's definitely our quarterback. But, hey, if we get this guy, he can really help us.
You mentioned TJ and Minka. Do you guys, they've been through a lot of these droughts too.
Yeah.
Do you guys talk about that and like what you want to accomplish here?
I think the main thing we talk about is what are our goals entering the year. Because you have to have we talk about the standard, but what's our standard to ourselves? Whether it's run, pass, how are we going to stick out as a unit and, challenging ourselves. So, when we hit our goals, we hit our goals, but when we don't, it's unacceptable.
Mike talked about in his end of season press conference that he wanted to win confetti for guys like you and TJ. Do you feel a different sense of urgency or even more urgency from him, or just any kind of shift in this offseason to try to get you guys to that point?
You know, I don't really pay attention to that because I feel like I got to win it for him. I kind of laugh when people say, "Oh, this guy deserves to win a Super Bowl or anything." The only way you deserve it is you earn it, and so that's always been my motto. And for the guys in the locker room, we got to earn it week in and week out. They're not just going to hand you an award. It's not a participation trophy. You got to go out there and get it.
How much motivation is it that maybe the outside people are questioning you at 35? Can you come back after an injury? Do you clip on to that? Do you hold on to that? And how much
Yep.
is that motivation?
There's plenty of motivation in that. I've had to eat it and absorb it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I want to make your opinion wrong. And I think I just look forward to playing good football. I understand this is a fragile game, and you're not promised tomorrow, but I'm trying to maximize everything out of it, and I'm going to approach it that way. I'm not going to run from it. Just going to run straight into it.
You feel that's disrespectful, though? I mean, you've done it for 12, whatever, 13 years. That one injury year, then all of a sudden...
It's funny. But that's their opinion. I can't try to make everybody happy. In my mind, I got more to do and more to play for.
And more emphasis on the left side?
I would say I took more left and right, but I feel like it was pretty equal.
More emphasis on the first team or second team?
It was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Second group, first group. Going against the defense sometimes, second group. So, it's good work ahead of us.
But nobody obviously wants, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but there's an opportunity here for now. How do you approach what's coming up?
Obviously, I'm capitalizing on every opportunity I'm given. You never know what happens, what happened, but, just being ready, light on my feet, and getting ready to work.
You were able to get some reps with that first group in the preseason for Isaac. Did that help you out at all with this?
Absolutely. I'm prepared, whatever way it goes. Obviously in preseason got some live bullets at it, and we'll see what happens Sunday.
What's your relationship with Russ like right now? I know you guys have spent some time together in the off season, but just if you end up being part of the starting line, just what is your relationship like with him?
He's a good guy. He's genuine, a leader. Obviously, just got voted captain. He's a guy that's going to get the offense on the right page, and whatever he says, we're good with. So he's got the keys to the car, and we're just passengers.
Spencer, in the preseason when that player jumped off sides and you did a little theatrics, what kind of reaction did you get in the film room the next day?
Nobody really even said anything to me, other than Coach Isaac Williams. He's like, hey man, he was like, I understand this, but he's like, don't do that again. But we all laughed about it. It was all good. He kind of hit me, and I was kind of like, I was going backwards, and I'm kind of like, I might as well do a front roll at this point. So it was just kind of instinctual, nothing really planned out.
Nobody gave you an Oscars trophy after that? Or anything?
No, but a lot of people wanted to give me an honorary Oscar.
Not at all. I give you a D on that. That was a D grade.
Spencer, you played a lot of different positions, but you got to focus a lot camp OTAs at guard. How does that impact this opportunity?
Definitely something I'm prepared for, obviously, because that's mainly what I played all camp. And, if something happens and I need to go to tackle, obviously I'm prepared for that too. So, like I said, being light on my feet and just ready to work if the opportunity comes.
How much pride do you take in having that versatility to be able to play?
I like it, honestly. Sometimes it kind of gets a little mundane. It's like, oh, he's so versatile. But I kind of take pride in it sometimes because, like Dan always says, it's like wiping your butt with your left hand. And, to be able to flip sides is kind of, I guess, something that I take seriously and something that I guess is a specialization.
You mentioned that Russ was selected as a captain. Just what does it say about the way that he's kind of come in and adapted to this locker room and is leading this locker room, even as a newer guy to this team?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of gravitated towards him as soon as he got here from day one. Obviously, we know his pedigree, his resume as a player. But, you know, he never came in and flaunted any of that. It's not, hey, I'm Russell Wilson, man. Like, you know, you're beneath me. It was always, hey, man, like, what's your background? How, like, you know, where'd you come from? You know, this, that, and the third. So ever since he's got here, it's kind of been a personal relationship with everybody on the offense. And unfortunately, some guys aren't here, but even they'll probably tell you the same thing. Like, you know, he's like, hey, you know, tell me about yourself and whatnot. He'll come grab a bite with you to eat or whatever. But he's definitely a guy that's, you know, a regular guy with status. But obviously, no discredit to his resume. But
if this opportunity comes, 7th round pick, he had to wait last year, played a lot of positions, that emotion, what would that be like Sunday?
Obviously, it'd be exciting, but then I gotta, you know, get my boots back on the ground and get to work because obviously we got one goal coming on Sunday, and that's to win. So obviously, I'd be excited about it. My family would be, you know, bothering me, but you know, I would have to, you know, kind of put it in the rearview and get to work.
How much does that have?
You mentioned the versatility, but you probably played what, 70-80% of the snaps at guard this summer?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you feel
I
like
think I only played like 3 drives at tackle in preseason.
Yeah. So you feel like you've settled in, and if guard is your position, that you could just roll over?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, why? Because you played so many different positions at Maryland. Why do you think guard is your best position?
Yeah, actually, you know, when I was in college, I was like, you know, my coach came to me and was like, hey, you know, we had a couple of injuries or whatever. He's like, hey, I need you to go from right tackle to guard. And I was kind of like, man, I'm a tackle. And then, you know, I kind of liked it. I'm like, it's less space inside. Everything happens faster. You go against equal athletes, not as speedy guys as, you know, your TJ and Herbigs. But, you know, I kind of didn't like it at first, but obviously it was the best thing for me, and I've kind of taken it personal to make it my own.
And who told you this year that they want you to focus mostly on?
It was kind of like a indirect thing. Nobody directly told me, but it was kind of like, you know, hey, I know you're snapping and all, or I know you're a tackle, but he was like, just get some more reps at guard. You know, no TAs, kind of everything's kind of fluid, and you know, everybody's moving around, and you're just filling in, honestly, because, you know, it's just on air. And then as camera rolls in, it's like, you know, hey, I've received a call. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm enjoying my off-season, cool, whatever. You ready for the trophy? I'm like, yeah. If I'm you, what position I'm focusing on? I'm like, guard. And they're like, okay. I just want, you know, I want to see where your mind's at. I was like, okay. So I wasn't indirectly told, but I wasn't directly told, but I guess you could say indirectly.
Who's that call from?
A coach.
Okay.
A coach.
What would be like having a guy like Dan Moore on the left?
Good. Yeah. You know, me and Dan, he likes the way we work together, and you know, Dan's a good guy. Obviously, we're, you know, being, I guess, kind of an understudy to Isaac all last year. You know, I know a lot of the same calls because obviously, you know, you have O-line calls and you have stuff that, you know, you kind of tell one another. So you know, it's like I'm trying not to go in and, you know, miss a beat.